this is sort of a slightly interactive talk. I do want your opinion as well, because this is very much a test. I put Jira in the title, and I know that's a risk, right? It's what happened. So, but I had to try. And I've been trying to, I've been bribing people with stickers and everything. But here we are. So you are the important people that are here now. Oh, one more. Come on in. Look at that. We just went up by 17%. Yeah, no, exactly. And so I have, I want to pick your brain first of all. And I know you just said your brain's mush, but we'll try. This is obviously a false statement. But does anyone here want to just, how do you use Jira today? What are some of the things that maybe isn't the best in Jira? Like, just give me an example. Because I'm not here to tell you that Jira is the best tool in the world. Yeah.
We have the problem using Jira when we have 3 sprints at the same time in the same project. One for business, one for UI, one for programming, and maybe a 4th for testing.
Yeah.
That's quite difficult to do.
As in, which bit is difficult to do?
The bit where the tasks move to...
Oh, the actual workflow part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So that's one. I did put this on there because we have to use Jira most of the time. It's not an option, right? And I'm a developer. The first year I used Jira was in 2008, and a long time ago. And it was still, then it was like, oh, Jira, right? But we got to use it. So I put this up here. What would you like it to do? Is there something that you would like Jira to do that it doesn't do today? Is that, you don't have to answer right now, but think about that, because that's kind of what the talk's about, is that we know we have to use Jira, and Jira is part of it, or Confluence for that matter, any of the Atlassian things, but we can actually amend them, we can fix it, right? So we can absolutely fix things to a certain extent. So who has ever heard of Forge, just as a preempt? One person, okay, excellent. That's usually the reply I get. So, yeah, anyway, I'll get to that in just a second. First of all, anyone know what this is? Where would you guess that is? Sorry? Austria, yeah, good guess.
Norway.
Second?
In Norway.
Oh, Norway. No, this is 90 minutes from my house in Australia. And it always throws people off, yeah. So right now is winter, well, we're just coming into spring. But 2 months ago, that's what it looked like. Not where I live, but, hour and a half away. And it's like, in case you're, ever wondering, jeg er dansk, og jeg har vokset op i København. But now I live in Australia. So I do the talk in English because my entire technical language is in English. But I do work for Atlassian, disclaimer. That's why I'm here, to kind of show you maybe Forge. That's the idea. I'm not trying to pitch you and sell you on anything Atlassian. That's not the idea. I just think Forge is a pretty cool platform. And I get to talk about it. I also am a Microsoft MVP for Azure, which is interesting now that I work for Atlassian. But anyway, we'll let that one sink in. And I have a YouTube channel, which is sort of my side project. So if you like robots and networking equipment and home automation, ubiquity stuff, that's sort of what I do around. But that's just an aside. I'm not going to talk about that today. I do live on a farm in Australia, and these are my neighbors. So we have 8 llamas in the back of the paddock. So I've gone full 180 from inner Copenhagen upbringing to now being on a farm in Australia. So if you have questions about that, or in fact, if you have any questions, I really want you to ask questions. I know there's not many of us in here, but maybe that's a better forum for it, right? So much so I want you to ask questions that I bought a bribe. So I have written a book on Azure, and I can give it away. I've got 5 copies. I've finished it now. It's not published yet, but it will be in a couple of months. So that's my bribe, just to get your interaction, right? Because this talk is about figuring out how you would use things, what annoys you, or what you would like to be better. And I get to give away some of those. That's kind of cool. Does anyone use Azure or any cloud computing? Is that? Yeah, I figured. Because it's almost ubiquitous now, right? You can't be a developer and not do something in the cloud. Like, it's just the thing. So I wrote that book, and my God, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Don't ever write a book, by the way. So what are we doing today? The idea is I want to show you the tools in the platform that we're going to use, right? So this is, some of that's Forge in particular, but a couple other tools as well. And then actually build something. So I want to show you how easy it is to build something on the Forge platform, with the intent of maybe giving you some ideas of if you use Jira on a day-to-day basis or something else, Confluence, you can extend it and you can make it much more of what you would like it to do. And if you're already in the Atlassian ecosystem, that might make sense. Then we'll talk about prompt messaging because AI. Have anyone been to a talk that didn't mention AI in this week? Really? Which one?
I need to think about it.
Aha, right. Yeah, so we have it's just what we do, right? We can't get around it, we can't avoid it, we just got to accept it and then get the best out of it. So hopefully this is one way that you might, use AI as well. And then we'll deploy it, and then I'll have a little bit of a bonus level thing at the end as well that I want to show you. So these are just a bunch of tools that you may not be aware of, hopefully. And yeah, any questions, you don't have to put your hand up, just yell it out. I don't mind being interrupted, it's fine. We just take it as it comes, right? So if you have anything you want to ask, please do. So here is basically what we'll do, okay? So first of all, we'll create an app, and we'll do that on the Forge platform. It's very simple, that's the whole point. And we'll then develop, it says develop, we'll start changing it a bit. We're not going to go too much into the weeds because we just don't have time. And then we'll deploy it to, Jira. And then we'll what's called install, which is sort of almost the same step. Deploy is putting it up there, install is actually making it live. So does that make sense? Pretty simple, right? It's supposed to be simple. That's the plan. So what is Forge? So you've heard of Forge, and no one else has, as far as you said. And that's why I have a job, because no one knows what the hell Forge is, right? And I didn't know about 6 months ago either. So it's sort of a new thing within Atlassian. So there's a few sort of main points that is why you would use it. So it's serverless. Do we use serverless still as a term? It used to be like, serverless. This means that it runs on Atlassian infrastructure and you don't have to worry about servers, etc., right? I know serverless is a little bit overused, but in this case, it is actually serverless. It is the implementation of serverless. It's a platform as a service. So we handle hosting, scaling, security, all of that stuff. It's all managed for you, and that's the benefit. So it runs inside of Atlassian's, call it cloud, call it platform, whatever you want to call it, but the service, right? It is native, as in it runs inside of our cloud, which I just said, and it has these integration points to, especially Jira and Confluence, because those are the two big ones that everybody uses, but also Compass and Bitbucket. Does anyone use Bitbucket? Really? I mean, great. Are we being recorded? Oh, good. So internally at Atlassian, we use GitHub as well. We use Bitbucket for most things, but we do use GitHub as well, just so you know. Bitbucket is it's a troubled child, but it's still a product. It's still being managed and supported, developed, etc. And this you can use Forge to create things for it as well, but we won't do that today. Which means that you don't have to bolt things together yourself. It's very, very simple to use with Atlassian, inside of Atlassian ecosystem. And there's the Forge CLI. So the CLI is what we're going to use in just a second and actually do stuff. That's the way you develop Forge right now. There are many things that are on the horizon for how that may improve, change, give you options, etc. But right now, it is a command line interface. And we'll do all that in just a second. And it says to install the app in minutes. And it really is. It is actually that simple. Oh, I've lost you already. That's fine. Oh, jeez. What's on fire? Bitbucket's on fire. Exactly. Cool. So the tools we're going to use, so that's the platform, right? That's the Forge is those things. It gives you that sort of platform. And I keep wanting to say it's free, and it is until January. Right, and it's because, yeah, you know, big companies. But it will be free for like, it's as generous as most of the other platforms like, you know, say Azure Functions or those things. So it's like up to, I can't remember the exact wording, but you can develop many things for free. And once you actually start commercializing, monetizing it, that's when it'd probably be a price on it. So I don't know exactly what the pricing is, so please don't ask about that, because that's still to come. So we're going to use the Forge CLI, and it is literally just like command line. Is anyone not comfortable with command line development or interaction? We all good? Okay, cool. Sweet. And that's the only interface there is right now for the Forge platform as such. This is, it's supported on everything. It's just NuGet NPM packages. You use Node for everything. So it's pretty simple to install. I won't do it now because it takes a couple of minutes, so I've already installed it. But you can just install it through Node, through NPM. Pretty straightforward. And then we'll use what's called Rovo. Rovo is Atlassian's AI product. So it's not a product on its own as such. It's integrated in a whole bunch of different products. But we also have like a Rovo dev CLI, so you can use a command line interface with Rovo. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming for that. We'll just create an agent today, our agent of chaos, and put that inside of Jira. But there's a Rovo agent. The Rovo agents is what we're going to be using. And you'll see it all. It'll hopefully make sense. The whole point of this talk is that if you want, you can go and do this in 5 minutes afterwards. That's the plan. And then, of course, you want to finesse it, you want to figure it out, and that takes longer, but actually getting started and doing it, really simple. It's built using Forge, and it can understand context as any AI kind of agent, right? But it sits within the Atlassian platform. Has any of you ever used Confluent Search? Is it great? No, right? It's rubbish. Rovo actually can search Confluence incredibly well. It's the one go-to that everybody internally at Atlassian uses, is Rovo for searching for things. It's throughout your Confluence. Some Confluence instances are enormous, right? Millions of pages. And it's very good at that. That's just one example. Now, I'm not going to go through this, but that's the actual architecture. Does this actually work? Let's see if this works again. Oh yeah, we got a pointer. No. So, see where it says Forge Bridge? There's that purple line there. Everything underneath it, you don't have to worry about. That is what the Forge platform gives you. You have some, API calls and whatever, internal interface calls, but you get all that. It's only the top bit that you really have to worry about. And that's kind of what we're offering, right? It's like, hey, this is really simple because we've managed all this. We've got 80 developers on the Forge team just developing the Forge platform, right? So we have ways of UI kit is our way of making sure things look like Atlassian if you wanted to. You don't have to. And then there's custom UI, which is you can make it look like your company's thing. Right. So there's options as well, and it's constantly evolving. But I like this image because it looks confusing, and then you realize, the bridge or the Forge interface actually gives you everything underneath. You have to think about it. There's a lot of things here. And I won't go through all of them, but there's something like Forge Storage, so you can actually have storage for your apps, your extensions, you can store data. And again, we guarantee all the safety and the security and the handling and all that stuff. Okay, any questions on this?
Say it all again.
Yes. So the TLDR for this is, see that purple line? Above it, worry about it. Below, don't worry about it. There you go. I should just said that now. All right. Sure.
I'm just curious, did you actually build a new cloud platform or just using some of the big ones that's already there?
Oh, right. As in, did we start building data centers?
Yeah.
No. It runs on AWS. This is why my point earlier, I'm a Microsoft MVP for Azure, and now I'm working with this, but anyway, that's fine. I'm pretty tech agnostic, so. No, it runs all on Lambda. It's essentially Lambda functions underneath that runs your code. But we provide this layer so you don't have to. It used to be a product called Connect with Atlassian, that some may have heard of. No. Unless you're a developer inside the Atlassian ecosystem, it's unlikely that these terms have come across. But Connect was much more manual. Like, oh, I want Jira. Okay, I'd have to do the token and the OAuth and the blah, blah, blah to get the thing and all that stuff. That's why Forge became a thing. Yes?
How is it this Forge up there? How different is the Forge app that you will build from a normal app that you can install inside the Jira if you have a hosted version? Like when you build your own plugins and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well,
is the same way or it's functioning in a different total way?
well, it depends a little bit on how far back you want to go. Right, so you say if you build your own apps, is this different? Is Forge different is what you're asking, right?
Yes.
Yes, because this is, the marketing term is runs on Atlassian, which means that it runs on our infrastructure. Whereas if you build an app before, not using Forge, probably through Connect is likely, then you would have your own API calls, and you might store the data somewhere else, and there would all be all these things that we as a company couldn't guarantee anything about. We couldn't provision any of that or certify that it would go in the right places, which we can now. So if you use Forge storage, well, we can tell your customers, hey, this is absolutely running inside of Atlassian, right? Which we couldn't before. So there's that difference. Code-wise, I'm not sure. I'm just too new to it, to be honest. Yeah, but enough slides.
Is it a storage? Is key vault storage?
Yes.
Or more like it will?
No, it's key vault storage.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So for internal state mostly.
Yeah, it's for your app, right? And I think that's one of the things they're going to start charging for, I'd imagine. So if you just have an app that runs and doesn't store data and just does a thing like we'll do now, you don't pay anything for it. But if you start storing lots and lots of data, there would be a cost to that, I'd imagine. But yeah, it's all key vault storage. Okay. So, and this is the point where you have to tell me if I forget to show the screen or it disappears, because I might not notice. I've had this before with like 60 people, and then no one says they couldn't see the screen. So, okay. You can kind of see that? Is that big enough so far? It's all right? Yeah? Anyone don't know what this is? Okay, good. Well, I don't want to assume, right? I know we're all developers, but who knows? So I'm in VS Code, and I got a terminal. I have just a blank folder, right? It's just a folder on my machine called Agent of Chaos, and that's it. There's nothing else in here. So normally what you would do is you would go Forge login. So you would install the Forge CLI tools, of course. And you do Forge login, and that requires you to provide an API token. That is the only time you authenticate with the Forge CLI. That token is in your id.atlassian.net, something like that, where you set up a token, right? So that's the only thing I have done. So the very first thing you always do is just go, let me show that. That is big enough? Are you sure? A better? Yeah, cool. Actually, we probably don't need the chat right now. Forge create, right? So I apologize if I'm insulting your intelligence by how damn simple this is, but that's the point, right? It is really, really simple. And you hit Forge create, and I don't have internet connection because it's a different network from before. Give me a second. Oh no, but that's running locally. Hang on a second. There we go. Hotspot. So let me just get a. There we go. All right, cool. So this is just going to say, well, you're in this folder. Name your app. What should we name it? Any ideas? No? Test. Hey? Test. Really? Do you also name your variables X, Y, and Z? Good. No, you're not going to call it test. I don't know. Let's call it. No. No, we have. See, this is the thing I have. It's like audio engineers doing sound test. It is the one time they have with the microphone. And they always go, 1, 2, 1, 2. Like, seriously, tell a joke, right? So we have an opportunity now to name it, because it's not going to go anywhere. We can name it whatever the hell we want. So we can call this Chaos Engineering or something. It's not really, but you know what I'm getting at. Is that even spelled right? Yeah. Let's call it that. It doesn't really matter, right? So now we get templates. We do provide templates. And normally templates are a bit like, ugh, right? Am I right? Who uses Visual Studio templates? Oh, you do? Okay, I'll take my words back. It's just me. But no, the templates are actually really good here, if they ever show up. Because that allows you to get, obviously, an idea of what they do, but it's also a really good starting point for what the file structure is like, etc. Because there's not much to it, so you might as well use the templates, which aren't doing anything. This is the demo gods. I haven't... Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, what are you doing on the weekend? Yeah. Oh, I can beat that. I was at Techorama in Belgium in May, and I did a full-day workshop on GitHub Copilot. Guess which service was down for about 2 hours in the morning? Exactly. So it happens. It happens. But this may, I don't know if it's broken. Let's just try. Let's just kill it. We'll try again. Pretend that never happened. So forge create again. And maybe now when I have actual internet connection, it might do it differently. Not sure. Got pretty good connection. If not, I'll have to show you the one I created earlier. There we go. Okay, we'll try again. So we're going to call this chaos engineering. We'll try again. Let's see. I mean, it's easy for me to say, but usually this is really quick. I don't know why it's so slow.
Is it taking things leads from cloud?
Yeah, yeah. So we have a list of templates that is part of the CLI, and there's like a whole menu system because there's quite a lot of different things you can do with Forge. So that gets updated occasionally, which is great when you create documentation and they don't tell you, but that's always the thing. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to let that run. Any questions? Because I don't know how long this is going to take now. It's usually pretty quick. So here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, right now you have a CLI. Do you have a other way to interact down the road with Forge?
No. It's just CLI for now. Yeah. The reason being is that you can set this up. There are ways to set it up in a CI/CD pipeline as well, because we do that internally. So you could have, it's flashing, so you could have that like automated as part of it, but it is all CLI right now, yeah. There are, I don't know if I should tell you this, I don't know, but we just bought a browser company. I don't know if you saw that. So Atlassian bought Arc, or the browser company, it's literally called the browser company, that builds, have you used Arc, the browser? Nope, okay, never mind. But they bought that, and part of that is that maybe this will be integrated, I don't know. We've also created an IDE, so there's going to be our own Visual Studio, or VS Code rather, which is interesting. Not sure how that's going to go. So there's all these things that are coming, and I'm not sure where Forge is going to end up in that. But it's a good question. It's a good question. But right now, it's all CLI. That's the way it goes. And this would be a really short talk if this doesn't actually do anything. But no, I do have a backup. We can just open that if I need to. But it would be more fun if we could do it for real.
Maybe switch to the Wi-Fi from here?
Yeah, we can try that. It's like full 5G connection, so I don't know. What is the other one that's, I'm guessing it's Copenhagen Conference?
Yes.
And anyone know what the password is?
It's over there on developer.
Where?
Developer.
Is it just developer?
Yeah.
Oh, that's, oh, DigiB and Wi-Fi, okay. Yeah, now I won't do that either. Woohoo!
Try turning it off and on again.
Say again?
Try turning it off and on again.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, I'm going to turn off the phone then. This has become a debugging session. And I'm going to kill this. And then we're going to pretend that never happened again. All right. Please? Oh. I didn't actually put in the password. Let's just see if it'll actually, here's Jira. We all love Jira. Look at that, it's Jira. Let's just see if it'll load it. Oh, we have internet connection. All right. So let's try again. Maybe. Chaos engineering. There we go. That's how fast it's supposed to be. I'm thinking, yeah, probably internet connection. Okay. Well, it worked. So we have all these different categories that we can create a Forge app for, right? So automation, which we're actually going to do, but not in here. I'm going to show you another way of doing that. Bitbucket, Compass, Confluence, dashboards, EAP, early access program. So that's not sort of fully done. Jira, Jira Service Management, or Rovo. So we're going to choose Rovo because that is what we're doing today. And we just have one option here. If you chose one of the others, Jira or Confluence, there would be multiple. Like you can do all different types of Jira automations and task management and stuff like that. We're going to choose Rovo Edge here, and we're going to choose an actual Rovo agent, right? So now this is just going to set up. You can see it already created the folder on the left, the directory, and that's it. So what we get out of this is really basic. Some of these have more files, some have less. Obviously, they're templated. But it's a React.js app. It's all written in pretty much pure React. So if you're a React developer, it should be pretty easy. If not, it's basically JavaScript. But the main key to all of this is this manifest.yaml. Who loves YAML? Okay. I don't know why YAML has such a bad rep. What's wrong with it? It's just definition, right? But that's where you get. So this is the architecture of your app. It's all defined through this. Well, most of it, right? So in this case, there's modules. You can see up the top that says modules. We have a Rovo agent module. It could also be a Jira module. It could be whatever it might be. Jira sidebar, wherever you see things in Jira or Confluence or whatever, you can have modules for that. In this case, we have a Rovo agent, which is now called Chaos Engineering Hello World Agent, because it adds Hello World Agent. I don't know why. The name of it is Chaos Engineering. We have the description, which obviously we can update if we want to. And then there's a prompt that comes on here. We'll change that prompt in a minute. But you get all this as part of the module. And then there's sort of the interesting things. The conversation starters is what will show up sort of as an option for you to choose when we use the agent. But we also have actions. So this particular template has this logging mechanism, right, which is probably the most simple thing you can do. And so we define an action for that agent in the module here, and then you can see there's a list of actions underneath that all lines up. So here's the key for that action. See, they match. Then we have a name for that, log a message. There's a function in it, so we'll get to the function in just a second. And there's an action where get, post, etc. There's a description of it if we need that. Maybe not. And then we capture the input right here. And then there's the functions. So that, you can see that key matches that key, right? So it all sort of set up that way. Does that make sense? Suppose, and the more you do this, if you create more than, an app a week, like this becomes very second nature. But there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do in here. There's a lot more keywords, etc., as with most platforms. But I'll show you this bit. And then there's the handler here. And this is the actual code that does the thing, right? So, and then we just have the runtime, etc., for the app. This app ID is very important. That is the unique identifier on the Forge platform of your app. So sometimes you need that for registering things and whatnot. But this index.messageLogger is just in here, right? And this is the most simple thing. That's why I started with this. So this just has a message logger function, like we just saw, and it logs a message to the console. Now, the console is actually our console here. It doesn't log it necessarily to any log on the Atlassian side. So if we just go back to the manifest here, so that's this bit here, right? Cool. And now before we start changing things, let's just see how that works, all right? So we'll update all this in just a second. Right. So down here, now that we have some code to look at, we'll just do forge deploy. And what that does, it verifies. It's like a build almost of the project. Oh, we got a command line error. Failed. What did I do wrong? Hang on. Oh, right, I forgot to be in the right directory. I do this all the time. So because it creates a new directory for me, which is the one up here, chaos engineering, right? I got to be in that. Otherwise, it doesn't know where the files are. Now we can do it. So what this does, there we go. So deploying it to the development environment. Out of the box, you get development, staging, production environment. So you can do all that. As again, with the CI/CD kind of pipeline, you can have that distinction between them. By default, everything gets deployed to development unless you tell it something else. It runs forge lint, which is just checking that everything looks like it should be. It's a typical linting function. And now we're deploying and actually packaging and uploading it to the Atlassian platform. Now, it's not ready to be used yet because it's only deployed. I have asked the developers why we need to do this. There's some very technical reasons that sound like very legacy reasons. And it also deploys version 2 of the app, which is also weird. But we're getting there, right? So I believe you can set the version yourself if you want to. So now it's deployed, which means it's in the cloud, it's on the platform, but we can't use it yet. So now we have to do forge install. And I don't, why can't I just do that step as well? Because I'm so new to this, I'm like, that's weird. So I have to do forge install as well. And then that will now, there we go, ask, where do you want to put this? Where are we installing it to? So deployment is it's now in the source repository kind of thing. Where do you want to put it? So I think still this should be part of the same thing. But anyway, so we're going to put it in Jira. And now I have to enter the site URL. So this is a site that I have access to. So this is up here. That URL is literally what you have to put in, like that. And then it's all are you sure you're sure? Yes. Well, are you really sure? Are you sure? Yes, I'm really sure. So now it installs it. This means now it's going to be available in Jira for that instance. There we go. Whee, that was quick. So now I can go. So any questions about this? Again, please just yell out because.
You said you were connected to the development environment, but then so now you did a deployment to the production side.
Well, I'll show you. Yeah, that's a good question. Very good question. Obviously, you can put up rules around this if you were in an automated thing that you never deploy from development. But I have now installed a development version of it. And it's only me that has access to it. Right, so if anyone else were in this test environment that has been set up for me, they wouldn't be able to see it. So because it's not in production, it's just a test for me. So yeah, you can install it and test it with production data, essentially, if your permissions allow that. But that's a good question.
Yeah, but just because the message said it was a production environment, but it's not.
Oh, here. Yeah, you're about to install a development app to production site, yeah. So it gives you a warning, but there are mechanisms as well that will that can limit that. This is where, is anyone here a Jira admin? Good, because they're like little police officers, right? And they set up a whole lots of rules and it annoys developers like nothing else. Am I wrong? No. So they'll probably set up things like you cannot deploy Forge apps to it. There's all these project settings and whatnot that you can set up. But because I am the Lord of Emperor of this, I can do it. That is a very good question, though, because it does give you a warning. Yeah?
Why there is no option to set up across all products? Why you have to be very specific about what product are you using?
Yep.
Confluence or Jira?
That's a good question. So what you would want, instead of having the option of Jira, Confluence, you just go blah.
Yeah, because
right?
Rovo is in all of those, right?
Could be. Well, that's the thing. Not everybody has the same license for everything, right? And in this case, I haven't mentioned this, but see up here, I've got a little Rovo chat button here. Some companies have decided not to enable that and not to use it, either across the whole thing or just for Confluence or just for Jira. And I don't know actually why. Again, little police officers. But sometimes you just can't. The other part of that is that if you look at the architecture of how Atlassian is set up, all of these are different products. And they're not siloed necessarily as such, but they kind of are to a certain extent. And they have different teams and different rules and different everything. So I think that's why, is that they are separate. We have this idea of everything. Atlassian sells apps. Everything is an app. And including Jira, Confluence, and all the smaller products as well. But that's a good question. because I agree with you. It'd be nice if you just go, yeah, but just, come on, just put it in there, right? So if you do go now to Rovo Chat here, there is, have you ever played with this? Have you used this? No? Have you got access to it? Oh, you played with it, yeah? Do you use it a lot, or?
Yeah, for summaries.
Yeah, it is like having ChatGPT inside of Jira that knows everything about your environment, right? I use it all the time. I never, ever use the search up here anymore. It just doesn't work as well. I don't know what team's on search, but yeah, they got a bit of catching up to do. I suspect those two will probably be merged somehow, right? But now if we go to agents, I can actually browse the agent here. So here's my test from earlier. That's why I said I had a backup, right? But we now have, if I search for chaos, we have chaos engineering right here. Right, I don't know what's the 3 empty ones. Anyway. And, whoop, there we go. Oh, does it not say? Come on. It just doesn't want to now. There we go. Interesting. It usually says dev. Like after it, it'll say dev. I don't know. I've broken the system. We know it's a development test. So you can see here, here's the logger message to forge logs, right? So if I now go back to the manifest here, there's logger message to forge logs. That's where that comes from, right? And we have an agent for testing forge agent functionality. That comes from up here, et cetera, right? So that directly correlates to your manifest. The manifest is the important part of the app, 100%. That's what also, if you go into having to write to Jira or things like that, you start having to add scopes to it. So we have that now. Now, I can do a really cool thing, which is forge tunnel. And that now creates a live connection. Why does it do that? Anyway. Why is it doing that? Does anyone know? Is that a bug, or have I pressed something in VS Code? I don't know why it does that. Okay, anyway. So forge tunnel, it says here, tunnel redirects requests you make to your local machine. This occurs for any Atlassian site where your app is installed in the specific development environment, right? So it's a development feature. But that now means I can test my local code, because there might be a whole bunch of code, with production data. It's not a production site in my case, but you could, right? And now it says listening for requests. So it just sits there, and it's blocked the command line because it's listening. So now if we can go in here, we can say, and it's again, we haven't got to the chaos bit yet, right? So I would say, log a message saying, and here's our chance again. Anyone, any takers? Anyone? No? Oh, come on. NDC Copenhagen smells like sausages. It did today. Did you not notice this at lunch? No? Well, it was just me. Okay. So if I do that, it'll do the whole agent thing, analyzing, da-da-da. There you go. It says this has been logged, over there, logged to the forge logs. Now the tunnel part of it, forge tunnel funnel, now has that in here. You can see it's logged down here, right? So it has a timestamp, input, whatever. This is incredibly helpful for debugging things. Like once you start building things and actually adding lots of React code, and then React starts doing weird shit because it's JavaScript, then you can log things in real time here. And the cool thing is this, if I were to go in here and say, okay, actually I want to go logging, say, messages, right? Let's just see if it does it. Save that. There you go. Pushes it up immediately. Right. So it's like old school. Remember when we first got this with browsers in Visual Studio? Where you could have like live CSS things, so you change the CSS. It's a bit the same, but it makes your development lifecycle so much quicker. Anyway, so that's now pushed up. So if we were to do another one, it would then say logging messages instead, right? Yes, Stefan. Can you hook a debugger up to it? Yeah, not really. Well, you can hook up like a standard JavaScript debugger type thing, but through here. It's a good question. I haven't got that far yet. I know with the Rovo Dev CLI, naming's hard, which is a command line AI coding agent, bit like ChatGPT, but in the command line, right? You can hook up a debugger to that. But I haven't done that. I've just seen lots of messages about how people have done it. I know that debugging is a big part of what they're working on for this. But so far, this is a start. But JavaScript, mostly you will actually get in the browser, right? The debugging part of it will happen in the browser, yeah. Cool. So now, well, that's Forge Tunnel. Tunnel, I use it all the time when I do these sort of demos, because otherwise I can't figure out what's going on. It does mean I am now blocking the CLI, but that's okay. All right, cool. Sweet. So let's try and actually change it a bit, so maybe it's a bit more interesting than just this sort of templated stuff we have now. I'm stopping the tunnel, and I'll go back to manifest here. That is weird. I don't know why it does. No, it disappeared. I don't know what that was. Okay, so the prompt is a bit boring. Now, I've played a lot with the prompt for this particular talk because I wanted something that gives you, as I said in the title, right, that gives you bad advice. AI ethic restrictions, it's really difficult. So I've got a prompt here I'm going to copy in because this is what worked. No, get off Copilot, thank you. So it says, you are a humor-focused assistant. As soon as you say something like, give me bad advice, it won't deploy it. And the weird thing is, it won't tell you either. It just fails. It just fails. Well, actually, I'll show you, I'll try it. But I've got, you're a humor-focused assistant that generates obviously fictional, silly, intentionally unhelpful suggestions for entertainment only. Right, you have to make it really clear that this is not a thing that's for real. Always include a clear disclaimer that the response is fictional and not a substitute for professional advice. I actually got Rovo itself to suggest what I should do to change it to make it work, which was kind of like drinking your own champagne? I don't know. Never encourage dangerous, illegal, or harmful actions. If the user asks for anything unsafe, provide a safe, factual alternative. There we go. And I'll just leave the logging thing in here because we've got that, so I'll just, yeah, sure, whatever. So now, okay, if I could say, let's just say here, actually, I'm just going to change it. I just want to show you. You are a unhelpful assistant. I don't know. An agent of chaos that gives terrible advice for any prompt. Okay, so if I try and do this now, so I've saved it, right? So now I'll deploy it. Oops. Forge deploy. And then you'll see that this, I'm guessing this is going to fail. If not, we've hacked the system. So it runs Forge lint. Yeah, the file's fine. That's all good. And then there must be some check somewhere, obviously, that looks at what this might do. And then packaging, it does all the uploading. And you go, oh yeah, sweet, it's worked, it's great. There you go, bang. And it just dies. Agent not allowed. That's all you get, right? Agent not allowed. So kind of funny because we're just trying to do a silly demo, but also kind of nice that we actually have those checks in place. So you can't. The disgruntled employee that is now having to use Jira, oh, I shouldn't say that. Right, so there are some checks, yeah.
Does it support multi-language?
Does it support what?
Multi-language?
Multi-language? Not yet. No, not currently. It is English. I believe so. Yeah, I certainly haven't seen any others. That must be coming because I'm guessing Jira comes in all languages, right? There's language packs for everything. Yeah, again, I've been on this team since May, so I am learning a lot, and that's kind of, I don't know, I like it. It's kind of cool. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I still don't know, and probably never will. So I'm just going to go back to what actually works. There we go. Okay, so I will now go and, ooh, we only got 15 minutes left, so I better hurry up here. So I'm going to go force deploy. And I know this works, because that's literally what I did an hour ago. So that's all great, right? It's still not super useful, right? It's just an agent. We're sick to death of AI agents. We have 1 million of them. We always use them. But now we have our own, right? So now we can do stuff with it. So I'll just make sure that that actually goes up. Did I? Hey? Say again? Oh, I didn't save it. Thank you. Again, if I'd been in Belgium, they would have just sat there and judged me. So, thank you. We'll just deploy it again. So, yeah. So now we'll actually go and use it for something We'll do some integration work. No issues found. Drink water.
Does it know about stuff outside, like Jira? Did you tell it to speak like Saruman from Lord of the Rings?
Yes. Yes, it does. Yeah. You can absolutely do those things. It is an LLM behind the scenes. I don't know exactly which one, but yeah, you can do stuff like that. Yeah. You talk like Soren all the time, or?
I asked Copilot to speak like Saruman.
Yeah. Bit of an aside, but I do a lot of home automation stuff, right? And this is kind of what I started doing YouTube with. And I wanted to do, every time I got a notification, like someone was ringing the gate or whatever, like it would say it like Batman. So there was always like Batman was saying it. And so, yeah, I know what you mean. So you get all these silly things like, yeah. It's just a bit slow. I actually turned it off because it ended up being a bit annoying. So in here, so now we have this chaos engineering, right? And now I've got a new prompt with it. We can say here, can you tell me how to what? Create a bug.
Create a ticket for a bug?
Yep, create a ticket for a bug. All right, and we'll see what it comes up with. Absolutely. And then there's the disclaimer, right? That has to be there now. Find the nearest magnifying glass and detective hat. You can't hunt bugs without proper attire, etc., 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 right? It is silly on purpose. Like, this is the whole point, right? But it's still just conversation, right? So we want to use this in a way that maybe is even less helpful, yeah? Okay, cool. So for any of these projects, so I'm using design here, you can go to the project settings. So I don't know if you've ever done this, but you should be able to get to this, I think. Again, Jira admins, argh. But in here is an automation tab. Have anyone ever played with that? Yeah? Oh, you have? Sweet. Okay, so you know sort of where I'm going with this. And in here, you can create automations. Now, you could do this in code, but again, choose the right tool for the right job. Like, why would you code all this when you can click a few buttons and your manager never knows the difference, right? Then you have more time in the pub. Fixing bugs. So we can create it with AI. I did tell you there's going to be AI in here, right? So create rules quickly with the power of AI. Woo! So I'm going to say, use the chaos engineering agent to comment on any new Jira ticket. Right. So we'll just go with that. And then, because AI is also now short for Atlassian intelligence, I'm sorry. It creates this sort of workflow, right? And this, if you've ever done anything with like HubSpot or what's the other one, Zapier, or any of those integration things, it's sort of the same thing. But it's actually really useful. So it creates a little here, when work item created, sweet, yep, that's good. Then use a Rovo agent. So we haven't got a Rovo agent yet. We haven't, it's just identified we want to use a Rovo agent. And then we have here the sort of rule details. So this is what I've typed. This is what it's come up with as a description, which is probably okay. And then here's the, the scope is that project. You can only do it per project. The owner, the actor, and notification, etc. So I'm going to click on the Rovo thing, and I have to connect it to my Rovo instance. So I'm going to connect here. It's going to find my agents. I'm going to select one, and then again, we can search for it, right? So I can choose that. That's literally all you have to do, right, for this. It's really basic, and it, does this make you feel less of a developer? Is anyone, you're happy doing this? Yeah? Good, okay. Because I remember when we first started using ChatGPT or especially Copilot inside of VS Code, people were like, ooh, am I cheating now? Because it was so easy, right? It's like, oh, I got this bug, fix it. And they went, yeah, sure. And then 9 times out of 10, it would give you actual helpful advice. But it is really that simple. So here's the prompt again. Generate response for the newly created Jira ticket with key. And here's the actual link, issue.key, and summary, issue.summary. Right? So it feeds that in. And that's when the new work item, those details comes from there. And we're going to go next. Yep, that's great. And then in here, and then we add comment to work item, and it's literally just agent response. It's just a variable, right? Like a dynamic variable. Excuse me. And that's really it. Now we have an agent that interacts with all of the new Jira tickets. So we're going to turn it on. And I'm just going to close this for the minute. And let's go back to the project. And I'm going to create a new ticket of, I don't know, we need more cheese at NDC Copenhagen. Who knows what's going to come out of that? It's due next week. And then we create that. Create task. Let's view the task. And it takes a couple of seconds for the agent to jump in. So it might not just be here just yet. No. This is another automation I've made of weather data. I live near Alexandria in Victoria, so that's why I put that in. I was just playing around with it. Let's just see. It takes 30 seconds or something. So let's see if we refresh it. There we go. Here's a delightfully silly, obviously, as we saw before. Thank you for raising this critically important issue. Our cheese acquisition task force, CAT, has been immediately dispatched to the nearest dairy dimension via blah, 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 right? So, obviously silly, because we had to put that in. But this is pretty cool, because you obviously don't have to do it as a comment. You can target anything in Jira, right? Or Confluence, or whatever it might be. And I've been talking a lot, and it's taken 50 minutes so far. But it really doesn't take long. It's a few minutes, and you can have this sort of done. Now, is it simple and slightly not as useful? Yes, we need to expand on things. I'm aware of that. But you got the platform, you got the fundamentals of how this might work, right? Does that make sense? Is this helpful? Is this useful? Yeah, good, okay. Otherwise, let me know, because that's literally my job. Is if developers tell me this is shit, I need to tell someone, right? Yes. Are you asking if an agent can break down an epic into user stories? Is that what you're saying? You could absolutely ask it to do that. The results, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it's like with the Copilot. You have to review what it's doing.
Yep.
But I could also ask my colleague to do it, and it could also do that.
Of course. Yeah. No.
Because of course you have to use your common sense more.
Yeah.
The vision for the product that it could be helpful to write tedious documentation.
Oh yeah.
And remove some of the bureaucracy about all this.
And I think that is the whole point of AI, is to remove bureaucracy and tediousness and repetitiveness. Absolutely. Now, are you going to comment on that?
No.
No? Okay, 2 seconds. I would say it's possible, but right now the way I understand Forge and what I've used it for is it's sort of, there's no draft version. So what you get is the comment is there. It's not a draft comment, but maybe there's a way to do it. I actually don't know. There is a lot of features in Forge that I still haven't explored. But it's not a bad idea, because it would get you maybe 60% of the way or 70% of the way, right? I had never thought of that. Actually, I might do that as a demo at some point. That's good, thank you. Hang on, Stefan. Yep, just behind. Yeah.
Wednesday, I saw one talk about Yak Shaver.
Yak Shaver?
Yeah. And the idea of uploading a video with the problem and then an AI actually looking at the problem and creating a good specification of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Could I create a small Yak Shaver using the Rovo agent?
I'm sure you could. Yeah, so you're saying, would you create, let's say, a task or Confluence page or whatever it might be?
I just upload a video with the description. Users are really bad at writing the box. And
Yep.
Every time you need a lot of information.
Yep.
So if I just could give a clear video, 30 seconds, 1 minute, and then having the AI analyze the video, finding out what is actually the problem, what is the context,
Uh-huh.
and what do we have to do to actually fix the problem.
I don't know if video is supported yet, in that sense.
Yeah.
But it will be in tomorrow. I have no doubt, if it isn't yet. That would work really well, because it would be it's a transactional thing. Thing is uploaded, processing, add other things. Right? It's a very clear workflow. So I think that would work really well. Yeah, definitely. I don't know who was next. Were you next, Stefan? Yeah?
So it comments as you like want to take it, even if it's the agent generated response.
Yeah?
Is there anything that says that an agent generated response?
No, not yet. Well, you can set up a user, which is an agent user. So you would probably do that. But right now, I said I was the owner. Like when I configured the automation, I was the owner, I was the actor, whatever it's called. But yeah, you would then say, no, it's an agent actor for this. So you would have a specific user for that.
But you could like have it count as you, and then just spend the rest of the time on the button and everything's working.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I don't know who was, there was another question somewhere. Yeah?
Does the Forge somehow support MCP?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So basically, you can create your own insight tools.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we support fully MCP. I've actually set one up in for Forge in GitHub Copilot. I haven't done it for Forge itself, but we have an MCP server as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the cool features that you can probably advertise is whenever a bug ticket is created, you can, if there are reproducible steps, you can spin up in-depth application to check if it's reproducible or
Yep.
not.
Good.
Comment, and then
Very good point.
get back to
Yep.
whoever created this bug because bug is not reproducible or just
Uh-huh.
suggest another thread. So
Yeah, that's very good.
because there are lots of times when you have a ticket without proper instructions. how
Yeah,
to
yeah.
reproduce or it's not reproducible or there.
Oh yeah, any of those mundane, I call them tasks, that is really should be automated, that's the whole point. Well, that's not the whole point, but you can absolutely do those, right? We've done, a colleague of mine that I've been working with this for years, he just set up a bulk copier and bulk editing of Jira tasks for a large American company. So things like that, and that is all custom, right? So it's a completely new screen in Jira, it's a completely new tool, all written in Forge. You can also put them in Marketplace, all sorts of things. I know I'm running out of time. I want to show you one last thing, like Steve Jobs, one more thing. But there is, if you don't want to use Forge, or you want to show your manager what they can do and mess things up, there is a whole other way of doing this. So if I just go back to, let's go to Rovo chat here. And you go to agents. See how it says create here? Right? That opens something called Atlassian Studio. Now, I'm not going to go through it, but it's a completely AI tool to create agents. What I just did in Forge, you can do without any code. That's why I leave it to the end, because I know we're developers. But you can absolutely do that as well, right? So just be aware there's something called Studio as well. It's very new. I don't know exactly how good it is. And again, I'm a developer. I like looking at code. Anyway, okay, so we are running out of time. Let me just, here, I want to show you this. Otherwise I get in trouble. Come on. All right. Well, because there's only so many of I've got 5 books. Does anyone not want the book? Or don't care? Oh, come on. That make my life easy. No, I'm happy to give all 5 away. That's fine. If you want, that Manning asked me to put that up. It gives you 45% off everything on Manning. And it'll last forever. Like, you can use it in 6 months if you want to. So if you ever need to buy books or anything, that is one they've given me, which is 45% off. Which sounds good. I don't know. Yeah. Any? Oh, God, now I've got to choose. Well, you asked all the questions, sir in the hat. And is it, you want a book or you got a question? All right, give me a second because we're running out of time. I don't want to hold people up if they want to go. And you, sir, would you like a book on Azure, written with wit? I tried writing a book I would read, basically. And I don't know, 3 hands, come on, who wants it? Yep, 1, 2, 3, there we go. Can you just come up, just hang around for a second. And then, if you want to get started with Forge, scan that. If that just takes you to the Forge starting, like getting started with Forge page. But I'm also measured on how many of you actually open that link. Full disclosure. And again, thank you so much for coming. I've got a ton of stickers up here if that's your thing, just because I like giving out stickers. And well, otherwise, thank you so much for attending on this late Friday afternoon talk. I appreciate it. Thank you.